Hey, so I didn't end up posting anything positive today because I had a little bit of a bad day today, which, it happens. But I had a random emotional breakdown today. Excuse me. I have some things going on, and it just kind of like hit me all at once. It's been a bit of a tough week this week, but the reason I've come on here is because I wanted to make sure that everyone knows, obviously, that I spoke about this, I think, yesterday, about not feeling good enough sometimes and thinking about giving up and all that kind of crap. But the other thing I wanted to mention was that when you're going through a little bit of a tough spot and you're feeling emotional and you have that knot in your chest where you know you need to release something. And I've spoken about this before in one of my videos about showing emotion and it being okay to cry. There's nothing wrong with it. So today I did have a bit of a meltdown. I was sitting at my desk and I just felt really emotional. And I went outside, I went and sat in my car, and I just had to do this. And I just broke down. I freaking cried. And I mean, when I say I cried like a baby. I was sobbing my little heart out. And but before that I felt extremely anxious and I felt like my chest was tight and I just felt unwell. I just didn't feel very good. I felt dizzy. I felt like I was going to pass out, which is crazy. I do get panic attacks occasionally, but very rare these days. But today I kind of felt like that was going to happen. But the reason why I felt that way was because I wasn't allowing myself to feel the emotion, the anger, the grief that I was feeling at the time. I wasn't allowing myself to experience that feeling. We have to allow ourselves to feel the emotion. You have to sit with that emotion. You have to allow it to come out. Because if you don't cry and let out your emotions, it's going to stay there. It's going to build up and it's going to come out in either anger or something that's not very good, that's not going to serve you. So what I'm trying to say is, today I had an absolute breakdown. When I say I was sobbing, I was really, really crying. But I needed that because, and I could feel it at the time I was doing it. I was sitting in my car and I was crying and crying and crying into my bloody sweater, trying to be quiet about it, but I couldn't. I was so loud. Luckily I was, outside. No one could hear me, I don't think. But anyway, I just needed to let it out. And then I sat in the car for a bit thinking, am I okay? But then I felt overwhelmed again and I wanted to cry again. I needed to get all of that out and I did. And it was the best thing I did because afterwards it was almost like a big weight was lifted off my shoulders. Like the darkness had gone. At the time I was praying as well. So I was cry praying. I think that's what you call it. Cry praying. Well, it's my word. It's what I, said to my boss anyways. And I was praying and I was praying and praying and I was crying and praying through the tears, but it was just incredible. It was like afterwards I sat there and I thought, okay, am I done now? Am I good? And I took a deep breath and I could actually breathe deeply. I actually felt myself like a big massive weight had been lifted off my shoulders and the darkness had lifted. And I went inside and, straightened my crown, as they call it, and I felt uplifted and I felt a sense of peace over me. I gained control of myself. But that is because I allowed myself to experience those emotions. It doesn't matter what kind of grief you're going through, whether it's a breakup, whether it's, grief from losing a loved one or anything like that. That doesn't matter. You still have the same feelings and emotions inside that have to come out. They have to escape somehow. And crying is one of those ways. And if you don't let it out, it's going to build up and it's going to end up being bottled up and do something drastic. You don't want to do that. So today, And listen, I've been feeling really crappy since Monday, okay? But that cry took it all away. And I was good. And that's what I wanted to share with all of you today. Also, to remind you to be positive. Be positive. As soon as I had let that cry out, I was able to gather my thoughts and I was able to be positive. And that made the world a difference. So I just want to let you know that you will get through this. Just allow yourself to sit with that grief and to feel it. Let it out. It's the healthiest thing for you. There's nothing wrong with crying, even if you're a man. It takes more of a man to cry. Does that make sense? It takes balls to cry. For a man, anyways. There's nothing wrong with emotion. And I think a man showing emotion is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. So if you're a man and you show emotion, just know it is a sign of strength. It really is, because it takes balls to do that. But anyway, I love you all. Have a blessed, wonderful day and evening. And God bless you.